by 4 guys led by Ja. Ja got 6 kills for a combined 11 for his team and took it all the way to the end in a throwdown on top of Pride Rock. So really a strong showing for all of the teams in that particular match. Now we're going to come back to the island as we all get ready to get this thing underway. You can hear the gunshots as the teams prepare themselves for onboarding. We don't have the scores from the last match in just yet. I'm keeping an eye on those to give you guys updates as it's available, but for the moment, we are just waiting to make sure that everything is in order. 50 seconds till start time.
Just go.
Alright, so guys, we're on the island. You hear the gunshots in the background. The hype is building. The excitement here on the map as all of these teams get themselves ready for round 2 in this 3-game showdown. It's going to be a ton of fun. Can't wait to see what these teams have in store for us this time around. Now, last time we had what I would call, in fact, I'll just straight up say it, a phenomenal plane. We went right across the middle. We had a really comfortable drop, so the entire map distribution was used by that plane functionality, and that's something that you really like to see in these games because it lets you use the whole map, right? We saw a lot of action coming out here in Melta Power. We saw a really good drop grouping in Georgia Pool that wasn't overly congested. That said, it looks like we are loading onto the plane, so let's make a quick change. Let's get this party started. As all the teams head out, you can see them already on there. It looks like they are preparing themselves to go to town. Drops become available right now. The path on this plane is still pretty good. It's not the best that I have ever seen, but it's not terrible. It's going across the bottom of the island, so we should see some car runs to get their teams to the north, not wanting to be involved with some of the hiccups that are going to be happening down here. It looks like we've already got a, wow, that is a big drop group right over here. It's going to be 4 different squads going to be potentially contending for north runs. Pachinki going to be very hot. Lippo's got 2 teams going to it as well. Look at those like laser guided missiles. None of them went for Milta. None of them went for power. In fact, I would not be surprised to see Glenn and the team redistribute their dive positions right now. All of these teams coming down. They got 2 teams going straight towards military base, no one to Novo. Take note, boys and girls. These, basically what we've seen in games lately is a huge uptick in teams not dropping in the obvious spots. If the plane goes over military, you'll see 1 team go there. Same with Milta Power. Both teams went for the long jumps, and both teams realized it's just not going to work. So now we've got 3 teams on the ground. 1 made Lippo, 1 made Red Houses, and these poor guys made it to the track all-star game and are praying that it works out for them as they run towards Crater. The problem is they're going to run into Red House. Red House doesn't get a lot of loot here, but they get a heck of a lot more loot than running as fast as you can. So if they can get their guns up and running and make it to the top of Crater before Gump and his crew get there and finish their looting, they're going to be able to just fire down and light them up. And you have to know, they know that Cal and team are on the run. Big circle, beautiful. Oh God, this is my favorite kind of circle. Great circle right in the middle of the map. Let's go to military base where it looks like we might have a little bit of action already breaking out here. Alexis got his gun. He's going to start the load. And maybe not. It looks like we've got 2 teams, but they seem relatively content not to go at each other too hard. There they come. The landing is just happening for Quake. Looks like they might have a couple more coming in as well. The barracks is already being looted pretty aggressively. Shotguns, scars, SKSs, and a grenade to get things started as Moliak, Arts, and Quake go ahead and hit a lesser popular looting side over there in garages. Nobody at ATC, so these guys have as much time as they want and may not run into a competitor for a little while. Now Moliak is the one possible game changer, right? He is on the Overwatch position here on the high ground. He says, I like to be on the rust bucket. Okay, I changed my mind. He says, shotgun only, I can't contribute to the fight. Now I kind of disagree with this. In a situation where you've got an opponent who has dropped 4 men on racks or barracks or apartments, whatever you want to call them, for your personal prerogative, and you've got guys in garages, it's almost worth leaving 1 man out of the fight, sort of on an Overwatch position on Rust, to let you know the movement, right? Because if he had been able to see that Alex and Ander left their partners here in the barracks, that could have been a pushable potential for Quake and Arts. Now, Quake and Arts are going to head to ATC, and they're going to run smack into Ander eventually, while Moliak is just left bringing up the rear because he had to go down those stairs. That's the danger of not keeping Overwatch in place, but I understand their perspective and why they chose to do it that way. Let's check back in with the Crater crew. Gump and company have arrived at the crater. God, they really took a long time to get here. And their looting has begun. Meanwhile, it looks like, well, they got a little bit lucky, as it seems that their friends here have decided not to over-engage. Just walk away. Breeza, do you have a team with you, Breeza? Where's the rest of your crew? Oh, there. Wow, so Breeza's all the way down here. The rest of his team is looting Yaz. Spread completely out right now. So this is his team. And then we've got the police crew. So these guys are in a much better position. They don't know the kind of numbers advantage they have right now if they take this fight, but it is significant to say the least. Let's check back in with what's going on here. Moliak making the wraparound. We saw that a little bit earlier here. Let's see how Quake is doing. He's into the ATC. The fights have started to break out into the base. What? We've already got 2 down. Let's go check in on that. Fight inside, trying to get there to help out. Look at this. Finishes the job, decides not to stop. Gotta be careful there. I think about chasing. He basically came in, ninja stole a kill while the other guys were rezzing, and then ran out the back door. So cheeky little play here by Sevens. Quake CH gonna go ahead and try to find himself an angle. Into the house we go. This feels like I'm playing Wolfenstein. Alright, so we're just going to have a little bit of a standoff here as neither team wants to make a quick engagement. Looks like Moliak, Quake are going to actually back out and decide not to take this fight more than they're willing to. They've already lost 2 men, so they're not going to stick around much longer. They're going to try to go out the back door, maybe get a wraparound, but that'll be the extent of their trouble. They don't have the scopes to really make that SKS work for them right now. Let's back out, see what's going on here as we've got, this is interesting. Got some roof content going on as they're going to be looking down into town. So Chocolat playing the Overwatch position for his crew as they loot. This is what I like to see. He's keeping eyes out. He finished his looting cycle. He's watching Elion and the King 2v1. Remember last time around, Benito, Elion, these guys caused a lot of trouble for their opponent's team. So instead of having to go head-to-head in an unvisual location, Chocolat's going to play Overwatch while he calls out positions to his team. So his team able to hold spots. You see Aqua's doing it right now, and Rico and Marcia in an okay position in that house, but these 2 teams are 100% about to converge. They don't see him. Benicio may actually get the first shot, and Rico and IR inside of the small house. Not a lot of cover or fire position. Bonito knows they're there. 2v1 definitely knows that they're there. They're waiting for their chance to make an engagement. There's the first shot. They catch him off guard. Art takes a couple of hits, but it's not going to be a ton. He's able to get away without too much trouble. The positioning is very, very strong here for these 4. Chocolat, though, does have a good Overwatch position. The problem that we have is Ahawais, however you say his name, is in a position where he's not able to bring a lot to this fight inside of the shed, but he doesn't know where his opponents are, so he comes out of the shit shack. He runs into some really tough area. I don't love the positioning here. Benito is going to find himself in a little bit of trouble if Chocolat gets brave enough to take the shots he wants to take. They've got plenty of time. They're inside of the circle. Firefighting. Let's see what he sees. Let's check in on the vision. He's trying his best, but he's got nothing right down there. Not sure if they're in the house. Not sure if they're behind the wall. As they try to figure out where to take their shots from. There's a nice play as well. He's really, really trying to get that edge man. Let's see here. Benito has been pretty strong on the shooting today. Looking for his chance to close. He knows that there's a high ground shooter, but he's not sure where that gentleman is. And that's going to be the biggest danger for him right now. So in the meantime, let's jump over to Chocolat and see what he's looking at. If you take off the X-ray, you can see that he now sees some movement. He sees some of his teams moving around. He's calling back for his boys. He wants them out of a tough situation. This is the perpetual danger of Rozhok, is you have a nice little town, but it's split in such an aggressive way by the by the road that you really, when you get into an engagement in this area, it becomes very difficult to extract yourself. So they've managed to pull one back. They're still holding Shit Shack. Second's going to make his run, so a good leapfrog system. And Benito and his team, or King of 2v1 and his team, have decided not to engage, it looks like. So they're going to go ahead and allow the pullback. The question is, I assume that Chocolat and his crew will probably withdraw from this fight, as they don't seem to be in a position to win it. They do have middle circle, though, so they're under no actual stress to make this go any faster. All right, Turion, let's check in with him and his crew. It looks like they had been pretty spread out. Let's see. What are we looking at right now? So they are still very spread out across this map. They are not moving as a foursome, whereas if you look at Palomino and his team, they are very effectively clearing apartments as a squad with no intention of splitting up. And that is going to put the rest of Yaz at a severe disadvantage. Yes, the loot will be better for Turgon and his team. However, you have to understand, there's a certain point. If you play the game with the systematic belief that you will not loot after the first circle, and all you need to win a fight is 60 rounds of ammo and an optic on an AR, or hell, even a shotgun at this stage of the game that's well executed, you don't need to keep looting. That silencer is going to be given to you by the guy who's looting all by himself in the middle of nowhere. Now, Ganjef knows they're there. He's actually looking to try and make a play, but if he engages them, unless he gets a kill, it becomes very not worthwhile for them because he's so alone. No one can help him. You are all alone. So he's going to play a little bit of a spy game here as the rest of his crew continues to do the loot. Let's check in on other aspects of the map. Looks like Moloch and Oak and everybody from the military base has withdrawn in opposite directions. Not interested in being involved there. Everyone bringing in. The Georgia Pool teams will be collapsing soon. Severity was completely uncontested in their loot cycle, so we have no issues whatsoever. And let's check back in at Rozhok, where it looks like we are still at a 4-4. Both teams have withdrawn. Well, I should say withdrawn. Chocolat has still held his house, but very smartly, King 2v1 and his team understand the value of high house in Rozhok. If you can get the uphill 2-story house, you can really hold it in. Instead, what they've done is they've moved to garage. They've got roof control in a large vision location. They know that they're going to be able to get Watertown when they come out. And more importantly, they have a Dacia in the garage ready to execute an escape should they get a negative circle, which so far doesn't seem like it's going to happen. So King 2v1 hanging out here. Let's take a look at Watertown. The Watertown crew actually just across the way, very close to them. If they come up this hill, they are immediately going to be exposed. It seems like they might know that Elian and his crew are there, as they are playing very careful among the rocks. Yep, Base TV has clearly seen them, and I'm not sure if the others have. So they're making their cross. They haven't. So Nod and Mike make a very, very bold play, go under the bridge, looking to try to get their angle. They're keeping the berms between them. And meanwhile, the guys over here are just running around like chickens without heads. So they have no idea that there is a giant boulder hurtling downhill, potentially to crush them unless they get themselves in a better position. They're talking about the Dacia. It looks like they may want to try to drive out of here as they're all packed into this garage. But when you pack 4 guys into one room, it's called a kill zone. They push out. They're just going to head towards Watertown. Is this a symptom of loot greed? They're in the open. Now's the time to take the shot, gentlemen. Pull up the thing so we can see their health bars, because it's about to get real messy as they walk into an ambush from 3 sides. Immediately, It's 5 is taken down. Benito, Elian run for the tree. King 2v1 goes prone and he gets locked as well. Elian and Benito start to scream. I don't know where they're shooting us from. What do we do? What do we do? Death. Death comes to us all, Orokusaki, but for you it came because you didn't expect the Watertown. So they'll get their team up. They're right back in. They got a nice 4-man kill, 4 points in the bank, and a lot deeper into the tournament. So well played, gentlemen. An excellent execution of that fight. Meanwhile, in Yas, it looks like Batter and Glenn are going to back out. They've got 3, so they lost 1 man. The Scatter team lost 1 man to that earlier fight that we had talked about here at Yas. No, never mind, they got him too. So they walk out with 4, and the rest of the guys continue their looting spree. So that fight that we thought might break out in Yas never comes to. These gentlemen decide it's not worth the trouble, and will simply back away. Meanwhile, it looks like we might have a little bit of action going on down here with Vlad the Bro and his crew, as they are staring right across the map at THMS, who has lost his entire team, and it looks like a car as well, going up against these gentlemen in the house. So he is hiding in the bushes. It seems like maybe they rolled up, they ran into some trouble. It's just a trash fire. And are completely pinned down. He has nowhere to go. If he tries to move around the house or out of the house, he is 100% on lockdown, on notice from these gentlemen in this house right now. Look at this. They've got it all covered. They're all sitting at their windows. They've all got a very strong angle on THMS. He just can't do anything. Nothing. Nothing. You got a whole lot of nothing, my friend. That's tough. All right. We're waiting to see what happens here. THMS doesn't have a lot of options. Now, another crew did just drive by. So what THMS has to do in this situation, your only play when you get points for going deeper in the tournament and you get points for kills, is to stay in the bush, wait for them to push him, or hope another team, because of their circle location, which is very strong, walks into them unexpectedly. Meanwhile, let's go back to the boys up in Yaz. We haven't really checked in with them too much, but they look like not a lot of conflict potential. There is a care package that has dropped right here in the river. There's 3 separate teams staring at it from 3 separate angles. None of them want to be the one to make the engagement. None of them want to be, as you say, that guy. But it sure does look tasty. Ja, this is our big hero from the last game. Ja played very strongly, has no kills yet. They haven't had to go into conflict, but they're the ones who killed almost, what, I think it was 12% of the overall field in the last game. So having them not engage yet, still pretty smart, but questionable in terms of not their typical style of play that I expect from these guys. So they're going to continue to watch. They choose not to go for it. Here it comes. Little Bear Cub and his crew decide sometimes you got to live. Sometimes you got to go for the gusto, and they move forward. That's a problem, though, because Dead Objects and Team Player also visible in the distance. Who's going to be in trouble here? Jaja and his crew are clearly watching and waiting for their chance to engage. The fight has already broken out. Immediately, Rub gets hit in the face. 2 go down behind the Dacia. Meskud, he's going to go for it either way. He doesn't care. All he wants is the gun. He's scouting, he's looting, he's hoping, he's praying, and already we've got men in some trouble. 1 goes down. They finish the job. Burnout takes a little bit of damage. Meskudex now trying to get himself to safety, but he's getting popped all around. Scar with an 8X is what he comes away with, and a tier 3 backpack. So a whole lot of nothing for the amount of damage that him and his crew took. 1 massacred. Mescu goes to the rocks. Jaja and his team decide not to mess with it, and they've actually bounced because they see the blue circle coming. This may be the only thing that works in Mez's favor. Is Burnout is going to get left behind by his team. He can't be saved right now in terms of the fight. PTFO and Team Player Dead Objects, they push forward. This is the 3rd circle, if my memory serves me correctly, so there's a left damage. They're not willing to stand inside of it. Little Bear Cub, Majax also about to take some damage, and immediately they might actually win this fight. Team Player in some trouble. They do. 4 go down. Now they're going to heal aggressively, jump in the car, and get the hell out of Dodge. They lost 1, got the pair package, and somehow took out a squad of 4 who had a supreme position advantage. That silencer, that tier 3, whatever he got off of that 8X paid off dividends, but it did not seem like it was going to. So well played by Mescu and his team as they somehow survive what looked like a very, very bad fight for them. They did lose their car, though. It looks like the tire got shot out, so now they've got to make the run. But you know what? It's not that far. The blue wasn't far away. I question the choice for the other team to sort of run into the open in fear of the blue, but sometimes you have to do what's right for you. All right, now let's go check out what's going on in the circle. Now, this is a very, very good circle. The problem is all of these players have to get there, and there's 3 teams that have already chosen their position. The King, Ja, champions of the last match. This is what they did in the last game, too. These guys love Wizard Tower. If it was up to them, they would probably build their houses in real life just like a Wizard Tower because they love it. They like to go up there, they sit prone, and then they engage. They thought about driving away. They took a shot from downtown and decided, well, should we fight them? What do we do? Kind of like it here. You know how I like Wizard Towers, Ja. We have to leave. Oh, come on, man. Oh, fine. You know we're going to get in trouble here. Maybe you will because another team on the drive as well. This could get sketchy. Let's catch up to them as they take off. Clax is going to come around the corner. Now we got 2 cars staring at each other across the field. The car chase. Are we going to see some Mad Max action? Both these teams think about it. KX says no. They turn right. They don't want anything to do with it. Man, I was pretty hyped about seeing a Mad Max style running gun. Well, you can't win them all, gentlemen. So now both teams going for what we call in the middle position. Clax and his team are able to get to the house first. And what that's going to allow them to do is get what's going to probably be a better position than Ja and his crew who are going to be forced to the high ground. They are not going to have the same house cover. They get a shit shack and a couple of rocks. So when you talk about a crappy house and some rocks versus the big behemoths inside of the walls, it's a bit of a David and Goliath. The problem is we know this Dave is not a pushover. He won the last game. They're looking to rack up some kills. They still don't have anything to their name, and they are going in a 4v3. So this is pretty interesting. The other problem that we run into is Kaz and his crew are in a position that is very popular in this circle. That means other teams will be driving in this direction. So the question is, will they get caught off guard because someone drives in and catches them? Or will Jaja's team be caught in the open because, well, there's not enough cover to protect you from incoming vehicles? And we're going to see that here pretty soon as both these teams take pop shots at each other. Let's see what's going on here. These gentlemen coming in, they look like they want to get involved as well. They're going to cross that bridge. Nobody really in close striking range at the moment. Palomino and his team are slow moving. I like their system here as they're going to slowly push the rocks. This is a great cover spot because you have lots of rocks, you have lots of trees, and you know where your opponents are going to be coming from. Meanwhile, John and his team still playing the waiting game. No one peeking out the window. Very good self-control by Clax and his crew. There he is. There's the peek about the meep. Little shots here and there, but they're also worried about giving away position. We saw some pops a little bit earlier. Took some life off of the King, and he's going to go into the shit shack and heal back up. So they're definitely considering not sticking around too much longer. They know that the longer they stay here, the more exposed they become to all of this open area around them, including Fel and his team coming down from the high ground. Check back in with our big map, see where everybody is. Looks like we got a lot going on here on the north side. Bear Cub, they see there's the airdrop. Basteve went for it and ended up getting ripped by Mescu. Mescu and his crew, these guys are care package lovers, man. This is the second time they've gone for the care package. Basteve is down and praying that somebody can help him. Where's the rest of his team? No idea. So he's knocked out. He doesn't have, oh, his team is all the way over here, but shooting in. So they sent him in as the bait. Mescu knows it and doesn't want to expose. The problem is they're also taking fire from the guys in this house. So Mescu could go down there, presumably, and get the rock if he wanted to, but it's just a risk he's not willing to take. Ryman in some trouble. He's dropping low. He's going to go down. Basteve is now on the loot for his team, trying to get it up and running. Mike 35 going to approach him. We've lost one. Noldstein is the last man standing there. He takes the damage. He goes down. Basteve goes down. Mike 35, the only one who can stand up against Mescu and his crew. And so doing a very good job here of managing this drop. Meanwhile, let's see, Shy Guy. Remember Shy Guy from the last game? The wild card that ruined that fight in the mid? Well, he's back, but this time he's got all four with him, and he is tearing apart this team. They're finished. He finishes them off with a car headshot, and there's just nothing that they can do. Mike 35 is here. He's by himself at this point in the game. Mescu on one side with his team. Actually, no. So Mescu and the guys say that care package 100% not worth it. And they bounce. Mike 35 can't do anything but sit behind a rock. And now he's going to run. Run, Mike, run. Mike tries to run uphill. Can he get away in time? That's the real question. He's going straight away from Shy Guy. Shy Guy's got the car. He's circling around. You're not going for the care package, are you? No, he's sticking to the rock. So he may actually get out of this. Shy Guy's taking the flank run. Look at this. He's got the car. He's decided to try and run around the outside. And he might pick off Mike. The problem is he may also run in to some very serious trouble. So they're just going to go about their business. Look like Mike may actually get out of this one alive. Let's go back in where we see the fights breaking out here. Wizard Tower, very popular. Oh, look at that. Ja and his crew found another Wizard Tower. So they're going to go ahead and camp out. They're the good wizards, Harry. Little Bear Cub in some trouble up on the high. We're getting to a small circle here, so the fights are going to get very serious. But I think, based on what we're seeing in the circle, that these houses are going to be very, very important. We're probably also going to see a lot happening in the bridge area. Let's go here where we see a run and gun going on. Let's catch up with what's happening. DZ Hiss. Oh yeah, these guys running around in their cars, shooting down from the rocks. Their whole team has arrived. They've got the 4. But here they come. Alex and his crew coming up the hill. This is about to be a fight, baby. Down they shoot. They're going CQC. Immediately opens up Rock. Shy Guy goes down. Fine takes out Sevens. Rockerino down as well. That's 2 for 2. 2 for 1. Oryx doing the split. Finds Fine. Fine goes down. DZ, the last hope, wants to make a push. Praying for something to work. Is it going to? No. Eradication destination as Andor and the crew get a beautiful set of kills to push themselves into the next set. That's going to buy them a little bit of time, but not much. They've got a minute and a half to get their wits about them and get off of the Super Rock. It's a great place to camp. They're now alone with about 30 vehicles to their name. Taking off towards the bridge, Moloch and THMS doing the slow push. The Wizard Tower working out as well. And here we've got Michael Phelps and his team doing the deep swim. Not to be surprised, but they may run into a little bit of trouble as THMS and Moliak will have a high position. We know those guys are swimming for the bridge, and there's going to be bridge trolls waiting for them. Meanwhile, over here, if we take a look at what's going on, Cheese is playing that rock game. So now, this is what I was worried about with this little compound. Clax and his team are in a position where everybody knows they're there. So when you're in that spot, you're going to be pulled in from all sides. El Maniaco and his team are going to be shooting from here. Clax already goes down, and while it's a great position when you first get there, this house is like setting up a giant red flare that says, "Shoot me, please," as they hope and pray to stay inside the circle. But they are not going to be blessed as such. They're pushed outside and have to adjust. Meanwhile, the bridge trolls, who were in a really tough position originally, are actually in a pretty good position now. Nice shot there from It's Taki. He goes ahead and puts the work into El Monaco. Let's take a look at his up close and personal feed. Sees the Wizard Tower. He lost his buddy. He's now a man by himself in this position. He sees El. Can he take him out? Shots. Shots. There's the smoke to buy some time. Is it going to work? He's very low. His friends are prone. And now there's blind fire into the smoke, hoping for something, but exposing position. That's going to actually maybe hurt him a little bit, as one tap is still hidden in the bushes. So what they're doing is they're faking a withdraw and then not actually withdrawing. It's very smart, and it may work. El Maniaco headed down, but he's got to watch out. The guys in the house now have clear vision on Manny. Maniac, man. He does it. He goes for the car. He drops below it. He's now covered from Clax. But Clax can just light him up. But they've got to get out of there. That blue circle is going to be closing. Let's jump into where the bridge troll action has been going on here. Bridge trolls have a good position. They're locked in. They see both teams. They locked up Enrico and iArt as they moved in from the side. They've got Jaja, the previous champions, pushing as well, but they got to get out of the blue. The bridge trolls have position, but you know what? Jaja and King, not in a bad spot either. They're looking at each other. They're not looking at the bridge trolls. This could be all she wrote as both teams moving in. John and his crew down to 3. They did lose one man into the blue off of a fall. Everyone very low. THMS and Molia content to just continue to swim, while Sleece and Clax, the last man standing over there, are in a little bit of a running fight with Hayes. the next circle just outside of bridge zone. So right now, iArt, Enrico, and Chocolat can hold their position and take the fight. They see Moliak. Moliak had to surface for air, and he immediately drops down to a quarter health. THMS still hiding behind the brick, using third person to keep himself alive. The King wants to push. Jaja's got the car out and wants to try to make a play here as the boys just hang out in prone positions. Sitting here waiting for their chance to make a move. They say, you have to come to us. The onus is on you. However, one big grenade could exterminate their entire squad in one shot. So they do have to be careful here. Jaja moving around high up on the hill. No grenades out just yet. Benny's trying to play the scout game. Benny ends up going down when he comes up for air. Not going to survive. Moliak holds his breath and just tries to swim by. THMS also, the two bridge trolls never got involved in the fight. They said F it and just bounced. They know where Jaja is. They're shooting up at him. Jaja's got to try to take this thing home. Ben is dying underwater. Someone can res him if they get under there. Jaja opens for the low. Goes for Enrico. Enrico sees him. Pulls the grenade, but not soon enough. He goes down. They can finish the job if they push to the high. King, the last man standing, wants to try to make this happen. Doesn't have a grenade, it looks like, to make the play. iArt, Chocolate, and Enrico going to just back away. They know the blue is coming. They're going to allow them all to die. The King is going to tick away little by little. The King is praying. He wants to make the play. This is his big chance. Can he do it? Can he at least take one man with him? As he pushes to the high ground, tries to beat the blue, now exposed, and the King has left the building as Chocolate, iArt, and Enrico comfortably move into their position. Now, that puts him at 3. The bridge trolls are at 2, and the high ground. The people with the best position in this match right now are going to be Alex, Hayes, Ander, and Twitch, as they have their entire team, as well as some pretty phenomenal gear. They're running with great ARs. They've got some good optics off some great fights. Moliak and TH have nowhere to come ashore. The second they stick their heads up, they're going to get popped. You saw that he took a little bit of air and immediately got hit in the head. And Rico peeked and took a headshot. He's got nowhere to go. These guys have this entire map to play, and now they have a rough idea of where both of their opponent groups are. There you go. Let's go up to the high ground. Throws a grenade from Hayes. Grenades going back and forth. The problem is Enrico and his team aren't positive where their opponents are, whereas the guys here on the top have the high ground and know exactly where their opponents are. Enrico crawling for safety. No one can save him. 27 seconds on the blue. High ground has the blue locked in place. There's not much that they can do to get them back right now. Or Hayes, they decide to send him in. He gets Art immediately. It takes him out. That takes them down to 2, 3, 4. The last wipe, 2 men standing. The bridge trolls remain, but they've played the pacifist game and will die the way that the most of the pacifists do, in second place. As Moliak doesn't have any options, he's just going to get shot inside of the water. Comes out, tries to pull his gun. Oryx, Twitch, they just come in and say, we're going to finish the job. Moliak resigned to death, ends up going down, and that is all she wrote. Phenomenal game. Oryx, Hayes, and the crew are coming in 11, 2, 2, and 1. So that is 16, I believe 16 kills for them, knocking out even more of the field than Jaja and his team did. However, Jaja and his crew finished with 6 and in 5th place. That means that we're still relatively close in terms of how these guys are going to be ranked. So once we see the big boards get updated, I believe those two teams are going to be relatively close to each other, because you see most of the other teams have kills, but not nearly as many as these gentlemen's brought to the game in this one. We do see a lot coming out of Miskudix with his 5 and 1, but that's about it. Miskudix had a great game, by the way. Misku, if you're watching, phenomenal game. I loved what you did after that care package. But again, that match goes to Oryx, Hayes, Alex06, Anderson, and Sevens, as they play a pretty excellent game, manage the positioning, and win very, very cleanly. All right, so let's switch back over here, guys. This is that was a great match. Very, very enjoyable. A lot of movement, another good plane, not a ton of action on military base. Both teams were able to exit with minimal losses, and what it really seemed to come down to is the care packages didn't have a huge impact on this match. It was really all about getting to a position and holding the outside of the circle. and moving aggressively at the right time. Now, we saw a really great hold in the middle of the map when we talked about the compound, the throwdown with Jaw's team at their wizard tower, but the problem is you stay too long, you get locked in from 3 sides, there's not much you can do. Great game, gentlemen, a lot of fun to watch. That was the second match in our game today. We will go over sort of where everybody stands right now. After the first match, by the way, Jaw's team walked away with 41 points. Born to Bash had 30. Needs More Natasha had 24, which was pretty strong. Brule's was 24. King of Car 98 was 18. And let's see, let's find out where our gentleman from the last game. So Anderson and his crew were 12 points in the last match. So they actually finished in 7th, well below Jaw and his team. So there's a good chance that they're finished this time around. We'll get them close, but I predict that Jaw and his team, ADK, will stay in the lead. So I'll give you more updates as we go along. Jump to intermission as we get the next match set up, and we should be back in just about 10 minutes. Thanks for watching. My name's Toffees. You can follow him at Toffees TV on Twitter, or you can follow the channel. I appreciate you guys with all the feedback and the help, as this is the first time I've cast PUBG, and I'm loving it. I'm enjoying everything you guys have for me, so feel free to throw feedback at me anytime. I'll be right back in just a few minutes.